So we've in our survey process in the planning phase, we've done define research objectives, choose a collection mode, questionnaire construction and pretest, and choose a sampling frame. अब जो रह गया हमारे पास step, that is design and select sample. So let's jump into it. We talked about कि for surveys it's very important कि आप ये establish कर लें कि आपके पास जितने respondents हैं या the data that you have gathered वो valid data है. So another way of ensuring कि आपके पास valid data है, that is that you categorically design your survey using different sampling strategies or techniques available. So here we're going to talk about सर्वे डिज़ाइन के अंदर जो सैम्पलिंग है वो टेक्निक कौन कौन सी है, एंड व्हेन टू सेलेक्ट व्हिच टेक्निक और हर एक का फ़ायदा या नुकसान, और अंडर व्हाट सर्कमस्टेंसेस दोज टेक्निक्स कैन बी a researcher can use those techniques. Will dig into that. तो ओवरऑल जो आपके सैम्पलिंग स्ट्रैटेजीज हैं या सैम्पलिंग जिस तरह आप ड्रॉ कर सकते हैं फ्रॉम योर टारगेट पॉपुलेशन, मोटा दैट इज इनटू टू कैटेगरीज. एक प्रोबेबिलिस्टिक सैम्पलिंग टाइप ऑफ टेक्निक्स हैं और दूसरा नॉन प्रोबेबिलिस्टिक टाइप्स ऑफ टेक्निक्स हैं. सो प्रोबेबिलिटी sampling is further divided into certain strategies जो कि probabilistic in nature हैं, and similarly non-probabilistic जो category है that is further divided into certain sampling techniques जो कि non-probabilistic in nature हैं. So let's talk about probability sampling methods. So a probabilistic sample कौन सा होता है, या probabilistic sampling technique has what features? It is a one where every member of a target population has a known or a non-zero probability of being included in the sample. यानी कि आपकी population में से आप कोई सा भी individual entity उठा लें, you can say for sure कि इसकी probability of being included in your sample is non-zero. So that means आपका जो probability sampling techniques हैं, they are unbiased, or they eliminate subjectivity, and they actually ensure कि आपका जो sample है वो representative of the target population. So again, probabilistic sampling allows कि every entity in your sampling frame has a non-zero chance, or almost non-zero chance of being included in your sample. All right, and all the more reason we should be knowing and remembering at this point why the probabilistic sampling is important, because it ensures कि आपका representative sample है, and we cannot make any statistical inferences from our data unless we have a probabilistic sample. यानी कि अगर हमारा representative sample होगा of the target population, उसी वक्त ही we can say that the findings that we derive after doing statistical quantitative analysis, उसकी जो findings आ रही हैं they are generalizable, और वो overall phenomena को जो है ना को truly depict करती हैं. So probabilistic sampling जो method है, that depending upon how large your target population is, how big your survey is, it has been further divided into 4 major types. There are others लेकिन मोटी HR types हैं, which is simple random sampling, systematic random sampling, stratified sampling, and clustered sampling. Now and that range from from surveys जो कि यानी कि where your survey does not have a lot big target population, to surveys where you have diversified target population, and it is large. So starting with the simple random sampling, जो कि probabilistic in nature है. So it is a way in which every member of the target population has the same probability of being included in the sample. So what do? You have a sampling frame के अंदर, as the name suggests, कि आप randomly उसके अंदर से जो entities है या उसके अंदर जो आपके respondents हैं आप उनको choose कर लेते हो, and that selection via randomization can be done in variety of ways. Maybe if you have seen on the television screen के वो आप एक bowl बना लें, उसके अंदर put all the names and then randomly select multiple names from it. That's one way of doing a random sampling. Or maybe you could write all your target population names on a piece of paper and randomly tick and select. So a simple random sampling allows a researcher कि अगर उसके पास थोड़ी population है उसके अंदर randomly उसमें से अपना sample draw कर सके. And it's important for a simple random sampling technique, for the researcher to use simple random sampling technique, you should have a sampling frame. Sampling frame hoga to tabhi then you can do randomization and draw as random sample. The second type of probabilistic sampling method is systematic sampling. Systematic sampling, random sampling ही है, but the way you draw the sample, it becomes a little bit systematic. And that means that maybe you have a frame, you have a sampling frame, and instead of adopting you just randomly take any of the respondent, you take against any of the respondent's name. आप क्या करें कि you systemize it. Yeah, maybe you say that I'll draw a sample through the system of every third individual को मैंने अपना sample में include करना है. So this every third individual randomly chosen from a sampling frame is called systematic sampling, random sampling. अच्छा, लेकिन one thing you should keep in mind in systematic sampling is that for it to be a systematic random sampling, your list should be should be random. अगर आपकी list random नहीं है तो फिर even if you do a you systematically take names from it or या systematically draw sample from it, तो वो फिर probabilistic sample नहीं होगा, वो random sampling नहीं होगी. And that means example could be non-random order. क्या हो सकता है कि आप अपनी list को alphabetically order में जो है ना वो you do an alphabetical order, वो लिस्ट आप ले लें और उसमें से every third आप उसमें से individual उठा दो, then that will not be a random sampling. So make sure when you're doing systematic random sampling कि आपकी जो what do you call it, the list as a sampling frame जो आपने लिया और उसके अंदर जो list of individual है, that is वो non-randomized. So when you're drawing the sample through systematic random sampling. अच्छा, इसमें example ले लेते हैं. For instance कि आपके पास your objective of the study is कि आपने cyberbullying का phenomena understand करना है at RIFA International University or Faculty of Computing के अंदर. Right? So at Faculty of Computing, maybe there are 300 students enrolled. So what do? You draw, you get the sampling frame. Sampling frame क्या है? आप department के पास जाएं, Faculty of Computing में, वहाँ से 300 students का data लें, or that will constitute your sampling frame. And then you take that list and randomly select students from it, and make sure if you're doing it in a systematic random sampling way जिसके अंदर आप हर तीसरा या चौथा students उठा रहे हैं, तो make sure the list is non-random.